Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie G, and you are watching Grindy Talks Season 2 here at the Boulder Channel. All right, guys, welcome to Grindy Talks Season 2. And yes, here we talk about all the trending stories, the latest happenings, and of course, important updates on relevant industries. You can also catch us live on Facebook and Kumu. And we also have a YouTube channel that is the Boulder Channel. So once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning with us. And you know what? As the global events industry was valued at $1.1 trillion in 2019, and pre-COVID was expected to reach $1.6 trillion by 2028. Well, according to Allied Market Research, COVID-19 happened and the pandemic has decimated MICE and live events, with online and hybrid events enjoying mixed success across industries. Kaya naman today, let's talk to our friends from the events industry and find out the current situation of the said industry. We have, of course, the current CEO of Ticket to Me, the Philippines' first fully digital and fastest growing event ticketing, production, and video platform with more than 11,000 combined cash and online payment options throughout the country. Now, content creators, event organizers, and ticket buyers can access the platform via www.tickettome.net. Friends, let's all welcome Miss Julie and Bautista.
And good afternoon to everyone tuned in. Thank you for having Ticket to Me.
Yay! Thank you so much, Miss Julie, and thank you so much talaga for joining us
Yes.
today here. Yon. And syempre, we also have here the creative director and head of digital execution of Saga Events Inc., a pioneering events company pushing the creative limits in fashion show production in Manila. And for over 2 decades, Saga Events Inc. remained to be the most trusted events agency of both local and international brands for fashion, consumer lifestyle, and corporate events, launches, milestones, and awards night, and of course, continuously creating memorable experiences for its audiences. A grand welcome to Mr. Leonard Molina.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, Julie. And hello,
Hi.
everyone watching.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we cannot wait to learn more from the both of you. So, yes, since our topic for today is live events, and I'm sure yung mga viewers natin, talagang excited and curious na to know what is really happening with the events industry, especially that, we are facing this current situation of the pandemic, a lot of uncertainties. So, maybe you can share with us, how is your business like now? How did the pandemic change the events industry? Let's start with Miss Julie.
Okay. I think we were talking about it already here
Yeah.
backstage. I think what's evident right now is that live events have fully migrated to the
Mhm.
digital space. So that's one thing that is realized. The potential of that is realized. And with Ticket to
Mhm.
Me, pre-pandemic, we were ticketing for live events. I think our last event was the concert of Evidencel back in February.
Nice.
And then
Mm.
the lockdown was declared March. So imagine how was that for us, right? Before it was announced, we were in Cebu. We were meeting up with clients
Right.
because we were doing our expansion program regionally. And then when the lockdown was declared, imagine I was with our founder, Darwin Mariano,
Mhm.
and we were really racking our brains. How are we going to survive this? How are we going to thrive? And those
Mhm.
things. We had an instant strategic planning. We had a lot of coffee in Starbucks.
Yeah.
Because we were
Yeah.
preparing to go back to Manila and see how it will pan out, in the events industry. But what we did was we knew at that time that there is a potential of migration
Mhm.
from the live stage to the digital space. So what we did was we created a tech. We call it the Ticket to Me web player, wherein we can
Mhm.
pay and host digital content. So that's what we did
Nice.
March, and we started talking to our clients, exploring the potential of it, and encouraging them not to stop. Okay, and
Right. Right.
it was a success story because that was March, and up until now, they continue to market digital content via Ticket to Me. So, but I think what's good, we were talking backstage. What's good with the events company also, they also didn't stop, right, Menard? Parang they
Right.
also did
Mhm.
events, particularly for corporate, which are also part of our client base. But interesting to know your story. We were talking about it earlier. You were combining
Yeah.
Yeah.
live and then
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh,
Now that
yeah,
okay,
because
go.
on our side, kasi when we produce events, it's essentially the same from producing live. Um, so in terms of planning, coordinating, it's just that we've changed venues, diba? We've changed
mm,
Yes.
the medium of presenting content. So um, when if changes if there's going to be changes in the business, it's actually relearn or learning new skills, and then
Mhm.
putting in more technology in terms of um, presenting it digitally.
Right.
For one, um, as I mentioned earlier, diba? Um, meron na namang digital before pandemic, eh.
mm,
And
True. Ah,
there's the live stream is already there. Um, it's just that the pandemic actually forced everyone to, oh, bilisan na natin, let's all progress
pivot
now
and
to
go with there.
the
Yeah.
technology,
Yeah. Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So uh, if there's a good thing that the pandemic did, was it gave everyone the opportunity to be more digitally inclined. Kasi ganun, eh.
That-
Kasi
Mhm.
events have been done before, way, way, way before. And it's been done the same, di ba? Produce, mag-concept ka, and then we go meet up, and then
Yes.
you plan logistics. That's it's the same. It's the same for everything, since time immemorial, di ba? And now that one has to change, and the pandemic has brought us to where we are now, the virtual space.
Mhm.
And a year after, or more than a year after, now almost all events agencies knows how to do virtual events. So yeah, I
mm.
mean, it's a nice progression, if I may say.
Oh,
Parang medyo
I
optimistic
love
naman.
that.
Hindi naman lahat
Oh.
negative, diba?
Oh,
Yeah.
correct.
And it has disadvantages, yes, because of course it's incomparable, diba? The
Mhm.
virtual space is incomparable to the live event stage, but it also has advantages. Like for example, it's scalable, right? You don't have to move your set or
Mm.
put out a show every now and then. You could actually stream it, and it could be available regional, Visayas, Mindanao, even abroad. So that's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
opportunity that the live stream or the technology presented to us, right? Also, in terms of theater and concerts, some producers they have sleeping assets. Pre-recorded
Okay.
concerts, pre-recorded theaters, etc.
Mhm.
Pre-pandemic, you have to stage that again to monetize it. But right now, using the digital space, you could actually put that out, draw that out from your archive, put it to Ticket to Me,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
monetize it. So it also
Mhm.
has. I'd like to look at the opportunities and the advantages that it presented. But I'd also like to say that that doesn't mean that the live event is dying. I still think that the future would have hybrid. The market could be
Exactly.
split.
Mm-mm. Mhm.
there are two things. A market could be split, or a new market. We developed a new market, right? So some people would have discovered that, oh, I could actually enjoy content at the comforts of my home. It's safer. But
Mhm.
some would miss the socials, would go out and actually miss the cinemas or the theaters. Either way, they both presented opportunities. And I think for us in the events industry, that's one thing that we want to call out and take
Yes.
advantage of.
Mm-mm. And it's also nice to know that, you can choose it between the two. If you want to go do live events face to face, then attend one. And then if you just want to stay in the comforts of your own home, just, with a click of your finger, you can just watch virtual events. So talagang it's really nice to know that the events industry is not only growing, but also adapting
Yeah.
to the very fast changing times that we have now. And since we talked about yung, ayun na nga, like how did your business change during the pandemic, maybe you can share with us what are the type of services, events that you provided and organized before the pandemic.
Um,
Okay.
for us, we've been doing fashion. Saga Events was mostly that started in fashion shows, lifestyle
Right,
brands,
right.
launches. But actually, pre-pandemic, we've expanded our services to corporate events. So when you
Mm-hmm.
say uh, sales conferences, meetings, and then we've also done concerts.
Nice, nice.
Whether it's a private concert or it's a public one, we've done all of that. And last year, we've actually rebranded the Saga Events into Saga Events Digital Plus. It is more of to
Oh,
tell to tell all our clients that we don't do just live events. We've expanded. We can do digital, and you can still do your events only in the digital space. Parang
right,
ganun.
right.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's for one. And how our business work? It's basically the people we had to upskill people. You know? We have to
Yes.
people needed to learn how Zoom works, how Teams work,
Exactly.
how live
Uh-uh.
stream work. You know? And yon malaking change in sa business.
Mm.
We had to in terms of equipment, you know, I had I, I had I had to source out multimedia artists now, not just graphic artists. Just my I remember one time my stage designer
Mhm.
who usually designs stage for live events. So yung mga industry people would know, oh, 4 by 8 ganyan, 4 by 8 kailangan may trust dito, kailangan paano tatayo yan? We had to agree na wag mo na isipin kailangan may trust kasi virtual naman yung stage. Hindi kailangan ganito yung compress kasi ganito sukat kasi everything's digital. So yun yung mga ganun. It's mindset, it's retraining people, it's upskilling people. So
Mm-mm.
I mean that's the good thing that happened. So it's not just because we're focused on wala kang magawa sa live event. Now we're actually expanding our services. We're expanding our skills. So
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Go, Julie.
yeah.
For Ticket to Me, so we are a service provider and we help out event organizers, theater producers, concert
Mm.
producers, events companies like Menards. We can talk after. Okay, so Ticket to Me is a combined ticketing and video platform. It's a secure ticketing and video platform. So as I said earlier, pre-pandemic, Ticket to Me is a fully digital ticketing platform which
Yes.
provides real-time data and analytics. So if you buy ticket from Ticket to Me, we're paperless. You don't have tickets. All you have is your QR code. Then you go into the
Mm-hmm.
venue, and then the organizer can scan it. So it was as simple as that. Our hashtag is Ticket Easy. It was that pre-pandemic. When the pandemic hit, we developed the Ticket to Me web player, wherein the idea is to recreate the live event into the digital space. So it's pretty much the
Right.
same. The difference is that when you buy a ticket, you will receive an e-ticket with the link and a unique passcode to access the content in the link. So it's as simple as that as well. But our difference with the other streaming or live streaming platforms is that we're secure and we're pay gated. So you can only access it if you've made a successful transaction. And we have the widest payment options. We have over-the-counter payments, debit card, credit cards, etc. We're working on other payment options as well. So the value that Ticket to Me gives is that we help organizers, as I said, monetize their content. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, you have a theater show. You could load it up with Ticket to Me, and then you could distribute and monetize that through transactional video on demand or TVOD. Usually, we have
Nice.
Netflix and iFlix, so that's subscription video on demand, wherein you pay a certain amount per month, and then you can access the content. But with us,
Yes.
it's like per pay-per-view, basically. So for
Mm.
you to access an event, you have to buy a ticket, like in the live space, right? To access a theater show, you have to buy a ticket. Same thing with cinema. You have to buy a
Mhm.
ticket to access the cinema. And I think that's one potential that we have to also explore, because when you go to other platforms, you would have certain number of watch hours, certain number of subscribers before you can monetize. But with Ticket to
Right.
Me, your price per ticket is what you gain. Okay, and we're also free for the organizer. Basically, we just put a service fee on top of your ticket, so we're cost free, and our business model
Mhm.
works by we only earn when the organizers earn. So that will
Yeah, yeah,
always be
yeah.
our motto in Ticket to Me. We always act in the best interest of our organizers and our ticket buyers. So, like recently, what we have is Rack of Ages, if you're familiar with that. The
Yes.
That's
Pepe's
that show.
rock musical. It has come back. So it will
Nice,
be streaming in
nice.
July to August. And then we recently also had Dito at the On of TV. So I'm trying to showcase different forms. So we have Rack of Ages for theater. We also partnered with Repertory, UP Los Baños, even Tanghalang Ateneo, Blue Rep. You
Wow.
can check our catalog.
Oo.
It's a lot of theater companies, and we're very happy because they keep creating, and we help them do just that. We also had concerts. Like last December, it was a lot of concert. We did with a concert with MCA. It's by 2020. And
Mhm.
also, one of the most successful would be the Alden Richard concert. We worked with GMA last
Mm.
December.
Wow.
So actually, later
Love
on,
it.
it's interesting to talk about pricing also, because earlier in the pandemic, organizers were scared to price their tickets. But actually,
Uh-huh.
Alden's concert, you could check out. It's really a lot. One of the most high priced events. So theater, film, also Menard mentioned corporate events. We also do that. If you want it exclusive to the company, also we could provide you that service as well. So there, the Ticket to Me platform is highly flexible for all kinds of content, but it's only going towards one goal, and that is to help organizers thrive in the pandemic. Right? So you
Nice.
can shoot,
Oo.
you can show it to thousands of people, but you could stream it
Mm-mm.
and be paid per
Mm-mm.
ticket as well. And the thing is, we don't have seats to mind. Like a theater would only have 400. I can only gate 400. But with Ticket to
Mhm.
Me or with a digital space, you can actually have thousands in one streaming. Like we would have,
Right.
I think in one streaming, we would have about 20 to 30,000. So there, a lot of opportunities actually presented by the
Yes.
company.
Alam mo, that's true, no? And it's really nice to know that there is a digital ticket space, eh.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from, di ba, like buying tickets like in person, but with this one, it's very digital and you can have access to live streaming and all that. And, it's really about providing entertainment and also, for the viewers and for the clients. So it's really nice to know that, Miss Julie, no? Pero, the other question naman with regards to your business, kamusta naman? How are you pivoting for this, despite this current crisis that we are facing? Is it a challenging one when it comes to pivoting?
Yes,
Yes.
it is a
Ah,
challenging one. So, apart from what I mentioned earlier, we did a project I was
Mm-mm.
talking about it earlier at the backstage. We produced Boys Lockdown series. It's a
Yes.
BL digital series. Our intention is to showcase two things. One is our tech, how it works, how secure it is, how we
Mm.
want to build confidence in the filmmakers and content creators that when you load with Ticket to Me, it's not going to be pirated, it's not going to go out. Because that's one thing that content creators are very careful about, right?
Yeah.
And the other one is we wanted to showcase the business model I mentioned about transactional VOD. So, Boys Lockdown series had millions of views, yes, on YouTube. But before it was screened on YouTube, it was also streamed via Ticket to Me, and we would have an average of 500 tickets. Imagine
Yeah.
500
Yeah.
tickets per timeline or per time or per episode. So it works.
Mm.
Hybrid also in the digital streaming space could also work. You can have it
Mm.
transactional VOD and then show it via YouTube and monetize through the ads. So that was a
Oh,
success. And the answer to the question if it was challenging, yes, it is so challenging
yeah.
to shoot in the middle of the
Correct.
pandemic.
Mm.
Imagine, but we followed IATF guidelines. We were very strict with it. And the good thing is no one got sick. So that's one challenge also
Yes. Yes.
for everyone
Uh,
doing
It's
on ground shooting. You have to be very, very careful and follow the protocols.
Kaya nga, I can just imagine how it's like, no, shooting during a pandemic. So, if it's really hard na nga, way back pre-COVID, paano pa kaya ngayon? Talagang
Harder.
triple effort, double effort. So,
yeah.
ayan, Sir Leonard, what can you say about that? How's your company pivoting?
Well, at the start last year, we figured no live events, no live audience, no public
Mm.
events, most definitely. So, sino lang
Mm.
yung mag-e-event? Mostly corporate.
Correct.
Yan yung hindi, yun yung wala, yun yung talaga sure
Ah,
ka magkakaroon. So, we try targeting more corporate. And
right.
with that, we had to learn. We had to relearn how do you actually do sales conferences?
Mm.
Mm.
How do you do entertainment? Di ba usually pag corporate event, I'm sure you hosted a corporate event before. At the end, merong banda. Meron.
Correct.
How do you do that? Di ba? How do you shoot that? Um, ang daming challenges throughout the day, but it's nice because you learn each and every time. You know,
Mm.
and then you realize, oh, now you can do this. What's interesting now is in our team already knows sa parang, also saan? Zoom? Okay, sige, so Zoom. What do you want to do? Okay. So, yung progression na right now we're producing a microsite for a client na for their event, which
Nice. Yeah.
na pwedeng nilang i-reuse. So we've been doing that. We've been doing that. We planned that since last year. So medyo matagal din yung planning. So pivoting wise, I wouldn't say we've actually, again, yung kanina expanding. It's just basically expanding our skill set. Kasi
Mm.
sabi nga namin, hindi naman sa pagmamayabang, no. I'm not we're not saying that. Hindi sa pagmamayabang, pero sabi namin, we go back to live events. We can do that with one hand behind our back. Kaya mo na
Mhm.
yan eh. We've been
Correct.
doing it for so
Oo.
long.
Ah,
Now it's an addition to our skill set, because when we do hybrid, most probably everyone will do hybrid by probably next year. Hopefully this year. Hopefully this year. Pero once we do hybrid, now you can say, oh, live event, sure. Live audience, sure. Oh, you
mm.
have live, you want it digital, you want digital audience, sure, we can do that too. Diba?
Yes.
So
Oo.
at least, again, being positive in all of this, it's more of, at least you know how to do it now. We're focused. Kumaga focus ka sa learning nung digital space. Dati kasi wala talagang pakialam sa digital eh. O sige, bigyan mo na electronic
Correct.
invite. Bigyan mo na
Oh,
email, send mo ng email invite. Okay na yan. Darating na lang sa event. Now, hindi. You need to
oo.
set it up na ganito. Dati ang live stream, lagay mo lang yung camera dyan. Tapos i-live stream mo lang sa Facebook. Ganun na yun. Hindi
Ah,
pala
ah,
ganun yun. You need to learn na parang it has to have a broadcast quality audio, broadcast quality video. Kailangan may angles, kailangan may break, kailangan daming ganun. So,
correct, correct.
um, again, it's for us pivoting is skill set. Kasi logistics pareho lang. Logistics,
Mm.
production, coordination, pareho lang. It's the changing of medium ang nagbago. So we needed to change our mindset. Naging parang broadcast
Mm.
ang dating nung event. Plus,
Tama.
with live events, 360, kailangan maganda yung ganito, maganda. Kailangan bawat tingin ng audience mo, maayos.
Angles.
Oo, now,
Tama.
ito lang, screen lang. Ito na kailangan, I mean, yeah, the people's, the skills of our team needed to be expanded. So,
Tama, tama. And it's also a learning experience. Parang you grow from it eh. You just don't stop there. Di ba? Parang yung alam mo lang na, okay, ito yung digital space, pwede na yan. But wala, you have to be very meticulous. Paano ba ito mag-work? Paano ba ito, paano ba natin siya papalabas ng, alam mo, how are we going to adapt with the digital scale? So, nakakatuwa naman to know that.
Let me add, and it's not just the production people that needs to learn. We needed to teach clients as well.
Ayun na nga, yes.
Parang, at the onset, parang nila, dapat yung cost mas mababa. Yung kailangan, bakit ang daming tao? Hindi naman po nagbago yung tao yung magtatrabaho sa event. They needed to learn how it works backstage now. Dati kasi madali eh. Kasi makikita nila, ito yung mga binayaran nyo po. Makikita nyo. At in person, makikita nyo, okay, kaya pala ganito yung price point. Okay, sige. Now they don't see it. Ito lang yung nakikita nila. So we needed to teach them as well na this is what you need. This is what we're offering. This is what you're paying for. And this is the value that you're getting. And the value that your audience is getting as well. So,
nice. Correct. Tsaka maganda lang na both parties are learning from each other and adapting, diba, from each other. But yes, ayan, I'm sure our viewers really learned a lot. And this is just the first part of our episode, ha? So ayan, more events industry talks when Grindy Talks Season 2 returns after the short break.
There we scan the QR code. So, dire-diretso lang kami. Scan lang nila yung QR and then nakapasok na kami sa venue. So, very, very convenient.
I love it kasi it's environmental friendly kasi sobrang convenient. It took me only like 3 seconds to 5 seconds lang and then I already entered na. Take it easy.
I don't need to print and the fact that I can pay it at 7-Eleven, yeah, that's very easy. Take it easy.
Take it easy. We'll take it to me. 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 Take it to me.
All right, and we are back once again, and welcome to Grindy Talk Season 2. At syempre naman, we're going to be focusing on customer behavior. Well, when they say consumer behavior is always changing and evolving, and however the changes seen during this period have altered business world significantly. Now, we would like to know, when do you think business and corporate audiences feel comfortable attending events in person, and what will attendees want once they go back to live events? Ayan. Let's go. Who wants to go?
Of course, safety, di ba? Yan lang naman ang pinaka number one. As soon as vaccines are all rolled out, yan naman ang una nilang hanapin. Interestingly though, dati takot kasi yung event, takot ang industriya magpatrabaho on site, and because the rapid tests and the antigen test became available, everyone became more confident going to work or doing the event, shooting for events. I think on the consumer part, as soon as vaccines have been they get vaccines, they'll be more confident. Even in some surveys that I've read, confidence level goes up kapag may vaccine na sila.
Tama.
Other than that, it's it's presenting the safety protocols when you do in-person events, whether meron bang gatekeeping na nangyayari, meron bang on-site na I don't know, isolation, medic, ganyan.
Yeah.
Pero the question, actually, ang interesting na, sinong mauuna? Yun yung matakot sa industry.
Tama.
Sinong matapang na mauuna? Na merong live audience. Because right now, almost all agencies are doing, technically, it's a hybrid event, but without a live audience. So, medyo tumataas yung confidence level na ng agencies. But with a live audience, that makes things even more complicated. So, pero top of the list in all surveys that I've seen, it's the safety protocols and the vaccine next.
Yeah. But talaga no, when you risk it, it's too risky pa for the customers na to attend events. But nga, it's nice to know that. How about Miss Julie?
Yeah, I think so with Ticket to Me, we always hold the hands of our organizers, right? And one thing that we were telling them and we intend to plan out with them is to build confidence to build confidence in the customer side. So Menard already mentioned safety and protocols, but I think there are a lot of preparations intended. So if you own a venue, you have to mark your venue safe and also following safety protocols, because people can actually go out. I mean, they go to the restaurants, right? So there's actually a market ready to go back to the event space. So that's one, preparing your venue. And then second also is preparing the hybrid packages. So we already discussed earlier that there is a new market who prefer to be at home, but there's also a market who miss the socials, right? Who would really want to go out but just need to feel secure. So it's a matter of, on the business side, we have to prepare in terms of packages, and we also have to revisit pricing model, because that's going to be a big debate. Which one will you price higher, right? That's second. And then third also is, but Menard already mentioned, is standby. So that there will be your emergency protocols, your health and emergency protocols. But also, one thing that I was really trying to prepare for is how do we create value in both? Right? Because Menard mentioned it should be an expansion. I agree with that. It's a way to positivize the new means, right? It's not killing one industry or the other. It's more of expanding it, upskilling people, the key players in the industry. So how do you create value in both? How do you present appeal to the customers in both? Diba? And how do you grow the markets of both? So, but that will take a lot of discussions and a lot of strategic planning. So I think that's one thing that we are preparing for.
We've also talked about it. Let's say parang scenario based thinking lang. Let's say everyone's now vaccinated, or wala nang pandemic. How do you push people to go out? Because for more than a year, people were nag-adapt na yung mga tao to watch na lang events on screen, that they're more comfortable at home. How do you push people back outside? It's essentially number one. People need to have, it has to be convenient enough. Kasi most probably, kung natapos yung pandemic, people will stay local. That's one. It's wala pang travel-based na events. They say local. Kumbaga, keep within the bubble. So, number one, it has to be convenient. Number two, there has to be value. Kasi, again, agreeing that, ano yung value nila to go out when in fact I can just watch it live stream? If you're doing hybrid, dalawa yung channels mo eh. It's on digital, it's on social media, and it's watching it on stage or watching it real life
Mm-mm.
in person. So ano yung value ng mga phone nila? And going back, how do you price that? How do you put value that in terms of on the client's perspective or on sponsor's perspective? Bakit pa ako magbibigay dyan? Eh, so we need to think about that. What is the value? Ano yung convenience nila? So people would go out again. Kasi I might be going forward in some of the questions, but um, uh, whether it's become more profitable for everyone, that's gonna be the question. How convenient it is for people to pay up, and because I'm sure it was hard before, di ba? Yung VODs na mga transactions, it was hard to convince people to pay for something that they can watch on YouTube or whatever, di ba? Medyo progression din yan. So, the value of people bringing them out again from their comfort places,
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed as well. We need to think about that as well in the industry.
Mm-mm.
Other than the fact nga na it's safe and everyone can go back to in person
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and less social distancing measures.
But you know what? I think halos lahat ng mga audiences, ng mga consumers, they really do miss the face-to-face
Mm.
events, in-person events. And I think they will do anything just to get back to that
That's
kind of, diba, interaction. It's really iba eh. Iba talaga eh, when you're there eh. So that's what they're looking forward to. But now we are curious naman when we talk about virtual events. I know we've been talking about virtual events and hybrid events, no? But what do you think the reason why we pivoted or why we went to virtual events? Is it just a quick fix because of the current situation, or is it the way to go? Parang eto na yun, we're gonna be focusing on virtual events. Or
I think
what's your thought?
I think it's a blessing in disguise because we
Yeah.
haven't really, Menard kept talking, we haven't really fully optimized technology. And we're in the fourth industrial revolution where technology is here and there, automation is here and there. There's a
Uh-huh.
lot of opportunities that technology presents, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there were business models that were set solid and tested pre-pandemic. And
Mhm.
what managers would always say is the best management decision is status quo. If it works, or why break some anyway? Sorry, I got distracted with my dog. He's been biting my feet. I'm very sorry. Anyway, so they were tried and tested business models before, and the opportunities that technology presents, we usually didn't take a lot of time tapping into that. So to the question, is this a quick fix? It was a fix, but I think it is something that will
Yeah,
be part
it's a fix.
of the future.
That's
Not just technology. The other opportunity that is presented is creativity. So I think
Yes.
it's a time for organizers to be as creative as possible and to be resourceful as possible, given the givens. So I was thinking earlier, okay, if the consumers or the ticket buyers, performance goers are still scared of going out, but maybe we could host them in an open space. We were talking at the backstage earlier that I saw some restaurants with viewing option already, like you could dine and watch a movie. So that's another model that we could actually use. Or open space. We were already doing this before. Open spaces for concerts, theater, etc. But the problem was weather, right? So it's unpredictable. Either it's so hot or so that's another challenge that we have to also overcome. But there are also covered open spaces, which I think would build more confidence in the customers. But then there's also bad sound. So I'm posing opportunities and challenges, and I think it's an opportunity for us to two things again: optimize technology and be creative and resourceful. So I'm sure Menard, that's also in your mind.
yes. I mean, I agree.
Yes.
Totally agree. um, it was a fix. It is a fix now. Pero again, uh, I agree. It was a blessing in disguise because essentially, we will go to the digital space. Eh. Yung nga lang nagkakasabay, hindi lang nagpo-focus. But right now, what the pandemic did is it made us focus on a channel na hindi na untapped. It was untapped before or hindi lang na ma-maximize yung potential. But now we've maximized it and there's still more to go. And so it's not the only way to go. It's one way to go.
Yeah,
You know, the whole situation actually expanded that path. That event experiences are not just in person. It's not just have to be face to face. You can go virtual. It can go side by side.
Mhm.
It can go one after the other. Di ba? Yun yung, kaya may
Yes, yes.
VODs na ngayon. It can go, yung, kumbaga, 360 marketing, this is more than 360 if there's such a thing. Di ba? Dati,
Yes,
360,
yes.
di ba? Ang daming lumalabas na ganyan. Before, ang 360 mo, ito, one after the other. Now, pwedeng sabay-sabay lahat yun. Pwedeng more than that. Di ba?
Mm-mm.
So, virtual events, it's not the end. It's not the end of everything of all the events. It's just one thing that we just happen to learn now. To it's part of the
Yes.
journey of event evolution, if I may say.
Yeah. But
Okay.
on a flip side naman, what are your thoughts on hybrid events? Is it the future? Parang, are we gonna focus on hybrid events now?
It's part
Yeah.
of the future, definitely.
Mhm.
Because now, uh, right now, clients before would always say, "Can the venue fit 5,000 guests, 3,000 guests?"
Hmm.
Now it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be that way. Let's open up a live stream for you. Just
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah.
VIP audience na live, 300 guests, gives you that VIP experience, and then all the rest, pwede namang live stream. And daming, parang nag-open up yung more options for events because of this. So if it's the future, it's part of it. Pero what's more exciting for us now because we're still, kumbaga, our core is still live events, eh, di ba? In-person events.
Mhm.
What's nice about it is what else can we do since now we know how to go digital? What else can we add on to the live events experience? Kasi what's also interesting now is before it's so hard when you ask audience to watch or to go to your event, it's hard to do QR for sure. QR codes, kung ano may QR, clients would always say, mahirap yan, alam ba ng mga guests yan? Hindi naman nila ginagamit yung phone nila, kaya nga sila pumunta ng event. Eh. Now, it's not. QR
Mm.
codes are everywhere. Everyone knows how to use QR codes
Yes,
now.
yes.
50-year-old, 60-year-old people know.
Oh,
My parents know how to do QR codes. I mean, the opportunity now because everyone knows how to go digital or maximize their phones, their laptops, their social media channels. Now that opens up more opportunities. Ang dami nang pwede ngayon sa live event. So hybrid events, yes, it will be part of the future. But it's not but I don't think it's going to be always like that. It's
yeah.
just that we just gave clients more options and we gave consumers more options on how to consume events.
I think what's important now is for the business development people and marketing people to be always on the lookout because the trend of futures thinking now is you cannot really see what's ahead because we live in a world where trends change so fast and abruptly, 'di ba? Parang you
Yes.
really what's a hit now is not tomorrow. We live in a VUCA world, so they call that
Mhm.
a VUCA world. And what's important is to develop the skill of quick adaptation, and also it's important to be very sensitive, to be market sensitive. You know, we have to be very in the know or updated on what the market wants, right? And then third, marketing people should also create the need because sometimes those needs are unrealized. Like, why do you keep buying
Yes.
iPhones, the latest iPhones, right? Because, you know, that's
Mhm.
excellent marketing. They create the need. So I think the important tool that marketing people have developed is that skill. How do you stay up to date? How do you develop quickly strategies that you can implement given the time? And how do you look or make sense of the current data that you have and develop products, strategies, and tactics out of that? Because if you look at the future, you won't really see, it won't be very clear, right?
Tama.
Like
Yes, yes.
earlier, we were talking about hopefully the live events will come out Q4 of this year or maybe first half of next year. That's all our hopes. But in so again, futures thinking is something that is very challenging, and we'll just tire ourselves and consume a lot of coffee just talking about it, right? But
Yes.
that is a good question. But I think the answer to that is yeah, the way to do futures thinking is to look at the now and how do you optimize the now. In short, life is short.
Yes. Oo, tama. I
Live
love
now.
that. Oo. Focus on the now.
Yeah,
Diba?
focus on the now. What do you do with the now? Because with Ticket to
Mm-mm.
Me, so let me just share, it's challenging for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
us. But the meetings are not filled with what's our task for today, what's our deliverable for. It's not about that. We really talk about, okay, let's look at the world. How is it now? And let's look at our customers. Let's look at our organizers or our ticket buyers. What could we do for them? So, Ticket to Me's value is always to act in the best interest of our organizers and ticket buyers. And what we have, our technology, our customer service, is always aligned with that. So that's one thing. I think that's a blessing for our company. It really gives us the focus on the people and the market size that we service. So that's what I want to share. Maybe for everyone, just look at the now.
Yes. Thank you for that, diba? We would love to hear that answer. Well, what about Sir Menard?
Well, yeah, I agree because there's, to be honest, even in on client side, especially in corporate side, um, nag-iiba eh. Laging there's always, they always ask for something new. There's always uh, changing. Ang mahirap lang, okay. Ang mahirap lang kasi umiikli yung timeline.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
umiikli yung timeline of every production, umiikli ng paikli ng paikli. Every time na nag-adapt ka, papalit ka ulit.
Mm.
Papalit ka ulit.
Mm.
So, to say na this is gonna be the new normal, we can't really say that eh. But at least we're prepared to do it. Yun lang siya eh. It's being prepared for that future. So, whether it's hybrid or we completely take out, probably not. It's not gonna happen. Pero being prepared for whether kahit ano pa yung requirement of a client or kahit ano pa yung need ng consumers, we should be able to adapt kung ano yung kailangan nila. Even if it's kahit yung content na gusto nila. Yung mga requirements yun. It's what nung last year na wala talagang, there were no events at all. The one thing that I told the team was, let's prepare. Prepare. Okay, let's learn. Let's prepare because at some point they will come back. The show, di ba? In the industry, the show will go. The show must go.
The show must go on.
But
Correct.
but if we change it, the show will go on. It will always go on. People will always come, whether online, whether in person, whether small meetings or big, they will come. Diba?
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
But what about virtual events? Kasi we were asking about this, no? Do you think the virtual events can deliver enough revenue to make up? Kasi nga, syempre, nawalan tayo ng in-person events eh. So, do you think it can make up for the loss?
Tough question. But, I think it can. There will always be. Okay, it's a scary topic to discuss, but I think it can. One thing that we're discussing in the team, and I'd like to speak with the content creators, show producers, theater producers, filmmakers. Take the leap of faith with calculated risks, maybe, because there is a market. I mean, Ticket to Me could actually share its, analysis that there is a market waiting to consume content in the comforts of their home. Our problem, in fact, in the company is there's not much supply. Like we would look at I mean, if they're not on Netflix, iFlix,
Right.
etc., right? Parang if you are not, if you don't have your content there, we cannot see a lot of products out there. We've mapped it out there. So I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to them. And Ticket to Me is here, and companies like us, we're here to help you out. One, of course, the key in strategy is to always keep your costs low and your margins high, right? And the pandemic actually presents that opportunity. As I said before, when you produce theater shows, you have costs for every show, and then you have to build a set. And then when you want to go to Cebu or Visayas, you have to transport your set. Where at the time that
Yes.
you don't have to do that, Menard was actually talking about that earlier. Um, Same thing with film, but I think film kasi you shoot it and then you stream it, diba? But the good thing about the now and what Ticket to Me presents is you could actually run it for, for months, and you're not talking to cinemas or the malls, right? So for example, with Ticket to Me, our last film was running for 3 months. And
Yeah.
the option to take that out is not with Ticket to Me, it's their call. So there's that freedom already for content creators. These are opportunities at hand. So I think we really need more producers to produce and more companies to monetize and maximize their sleeping assets. So
Mm.
Yeah, it's challenging kasi it's challenging to create content. And so
Correct.
and 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 who's gonna support that content? Yun yung mahirap sa kanya.
Mm.
It's plus again talking about because clients need to learn how it works digitally or pag content creation. Kasi nga everything's virtual, everything just is just on screen, and they don't
Mm.
sometimes they don't understand that. And they need to kumbaga, we need to at least guide them through that process. So if to be honest, in our business, on our side of the business, virtual events, parang parang hindi. Parang hindi
Kaya.
niya matatapatan ng in person. Okay.
Okay.
But hindi niya matatapatan. For one, because hindi physical lahat. Kasi lahat, pag hindi mo natahawakan, ang dali nilang tawaran yan. Oh, to be honest lang ha. Diba? So, tatawaran nila eh. Hindi, it will not. It will never go, the revenues for that, it will not. Kasi, when you do in-person events, let's say festival, the revenues that comes from that, from staging, okay, doon pa lang tayo sa staging, sa venue, sa laki ng venue. Ticketing is just one, diba? Pero the revenues that come from it, booth, food and beverage,
Yes.
logistics, ang daming pinapasok nun. Kaya nga, you mentioned earlier in your opening line, it's a $1 trillion market. It's a $1 trillion industry.
Yes.
Industry. So, pero pag virtual, pwede ka pwede i-share mo lang. People will just share a stream. People will just share videos. They can do that. It will never, but it can expand. Again, expand the revenues that comes, and services like Ticket to Me and all the other, marami pa naman dyan, marami ding iba dyan na ganun din yung offer. And it's a new revenue. Businesses need to, or at least agencies need to understand that this is an additional revenue stream. You need to treat it like that. It's just that we are limited right now to our current situation, diba? So when you go to live events, when we go back to in-person events, ito additional revenue stream, pwede natin gawin din yan.
Yeah.
Talo lang kami kasi sinasabi mo, you can present past events and then put it as VODs. Hindi kasi kasama sa stipulation ng contracts eh. Then, wala sa contract. Siyempre, may client ka. Yung archive mo rin, hindi pang VOD. Hindi siya, it wasn't set like that. But, it's now in our mindset na, nga, sige, pwede pa yan. Yung scalability niya in terms of time, in terms of how long you can put it out there in the digital space. Tapos revenue siya. That's one thing that we can also think about. Yun nga lang, plus, yun nga lang, minsan yung talents hindi pwedeng, hindi na pwedeng one-time payment lang. Kailangan
kasi
nila
frame
social
na.
media, meron na yan. Ang
Oo
dami
nga.
ng stipulations
Correct,
ngayon.
correct.
So, yun hindi pa, may clients na hindi naiintindihan yun. So, we need to talk to them about that. Ang daming, pero virtual events alone will not go at par with in-person events. Kasi ang daming revenues that comes from it. Plus, people think because this is only, ito lang yung content mo, hindi 360. Ito lang yung content mo. People think na ang production cost niya, mababa lang. Di ba? Hindi.
Yes.
Diba?
Oo.
Pero
Nice.
scalability.
Tama,
Yeah.
tama. And thank you so much for sharing your insights. We're learning so much from the both of you. And ito naman, no, on the brighter side of things, ayan, maybe you can share with us, what's your company's major breakthrough or breakthroughs or innovations despite this pandemic? Let's go.
Sige.
Go, Bernard.
Sa amin, it's actually 2019 we planned. Our office was in Pasig before, and then we were planning to transfer to Mandaluyong to a bigger office space. Before pre-pandemic, sabi nila there was supposed to be a warehouse space for all the rentables, ganyan. Nung nagkaroon ng lockdown, switch kagad tayo. We're making it to a studio. So nagkaroon kami ng studio. And then the studio now, so one of the breakthroughs was, pwede pala tayo maging studio. And now it's open for everyone. It's open for clients. It's open for other agencies. It's open for, I mean, that's one of the good decisions, best decisions of the management to pivot, to quickly pivot into something that is profitable for everyone. Other than that, because we became Saga Events Digital, right? We had to purchase equipment that are broadcast quality. Kasi kailangan quality, broadcast quality lahat ng content when you do live stream and all that. Diba? So yeah, that's one. And then lastly would probably be, I would say, people skills. People skills. Yung breakthrough ng tao na akala mo hindi niya maiintindihan ang kakapindot kung ano yung features ng mga apps. Naintindihan nila and everyone knows how to do it. And dumating kami sa point na parang, no, hindi. Dapat lahat kayo alam nyo yan. Kasi pag may isa nagkasakit, paano yung isa? Sinong gagawa? So lahat, everyone was people. To be honest, I'm proud of my team to be able to learn that in a very short time. And again, hindi lang naman personal. Kailangan pag natutunan mo, tutulong mo rin sa client. Kasi eto po kasi yung nangyayari. Kaya po may feedback. Kaya po nag-e-echo yung audio. Kaya po pangit yung ganito. Kaya po nagsastutter yung video niya. Everyone had to learn that. And from top management down to, you need to learn how to do all this. We need to transition to internet-based. How does cloud work? How does Google Drive work?
Complicated pa naman aralin yung mga yan.
Correct.
So go, Miss G. Ayun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maynard.
Maynard mentioned about, we were talking about revenue earlier, and then he mentioned about content being shared. So I think what Ticket2Me provides, or one of the breakthroughs, is the security features that it provides its content creators. And I understand that talaga, Maynard, because particularly film creators, right? There are really policies that it can't be shared or it can't be streamed in this particular country, etc. So what Ticket2Me provides, if you load your content with Ticket2Me, number one, you cannot access it without a successful transaction. And then second, it also has traceability features, in which case, if ever you share the content, which is not possible with the Ticket to Me platform and technology, but if you did, we could easily trace it and apply legal action. So these security features we provide for our organizers precisely because of that. We want to help organizers to monetize their content, but at the same time we want to eradicate those. We want to eradicate theft and also
Mm-mm.
piracy, right? Because
Right.
that's one challenge in the
Yes.
digital space, piracy. So that's where Ticket to Me can come in. And I think that's the reason why we have films, a lot of films in place, and also even theater shows, right? Because
Yeah.
they're also prone to that. And that's one thing that we keep developing and we keep updating. And that's the security that we provide to our customers. So,
Nice. Love it. Pero ito naman, no, now that we're moving forward, what are the trends that we can expect from this industry?
Hmm. Well,
Go.
well, for one, um, it's more of content, changing content, or
Yeah.
the way we present stuff. At the first, kasi at the first part of the pandemic and then virtual events, um, we were still doing a live event format. Yun nga lang naka video, yun nga lang naka live stream. And then we realized, oh, wait, a 2 hour program it's too long already for people. You know, especially if it's just program based lang or ganito. Ang isang trend na nakikita namin is we need to shorten things up. We need to be more efficient in time. Kumbaga, coming from TV because I mean I'm a broadcast major. Um, every second counts, di ba? Every second costs actually, di ba? In live stream kasi hindi. Kaya people tend to go on and on and on and on and on. But programming content, that it's gonna change. Other than that, how we do videos, how we do pre-recorded stuff, and how we treat videos now, it's gonna change in the future. Or plus learnings from that, yun mapupunta pagdating sa hybrid as well. When we do
Yeah.
in person, all those learnings, all those changes, it's gonna apply most definitely in the events, in the in-person events experience. So yeah, wala masyadong trend. We don't want to do trends.
it's hard. But
Oh,
it's
mahirap
hard, but there
mag-trend.
are may mga emerging naman, like content wise, authenticity is a trend, right? Authenticity and relevance. That's one thing that sells. You could very much
Personalization, yeah.
personalization of content. Why?
Trend, yeah.
Yes.
Because of the times, the pandemic put out the more introspective and reflective individuals.
Right.
So I think authenticity and relevance sells in terms of content. Of course, live streaming, we've already talked about it. Shoot and stream is also one of the trends because most of our clients do that, right? Because live stream is kind of hard, right? Between internet, lighting, or your
Mm.
dogs like me.
Yes. The
Buying
dogs
my
here.
seat.
Hello.
You too. I also saw
Yeah, may
Leonard
dogos
is
na.
husky.
Yeah, may huskies na. Yeah,
I saw.
yeah.
So hard, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard, but if you keep it real, it's also
Yeah.
okay. But I want to go back to shoot and stream because you have more liberty to curate and also beautify or improve the aesthetics of your content. And of course, the challenge there is to keep, again, we were talking about revenues, your costs low, and also follow IATF protocols and keep it, tight. So, but I agree with Menard, it's really hard to
Yeah. It's
see
hard.
trends or
Talk about
forecast
trends. Yes.
trends.
But there are very interesting pegs. When it comes to events or in the entertainment industry. Uh, what's interesting is ang nangunguna is K-pop. They've always done they've always went forward in terms of technology. I mean, BTS concert that you can choose which camera you want to view it from. You want to
Yeah,
focus
yeah.
on one guy, just click that button, and then you can. I mean, those are interesting trends that you know it's basically experience. It's basically consumer experience. How people change and how again mentioning earlier personalization. Pero for one, it's interaction.
Yeah.
Consumer interaction between us and us people in the stream and interacting with people watching, diba? Right now it's just comments. It's just like buttons and all that. If there's gonna be one thing that we need to push forward to is having more interaction. If we're staying in this box forever or on a longer than what we anticipate, that's what we were also trying to do. How do we interact more with the audience?
Yeah.
So it's not really a trend, but it is a challenge for the whole industry now. How can we interact more, even with limited in-person engagement? So yun, engagement, interaction.
Nice.
And I'm sure these times would actually push people to be more creative in doing
Mhm.
that. We try with all our events, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's tough.
it's tough.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, and it's really more about, being creative talaga as you grow. Parang growing experience, you really have to, let those creative juices flowing. It's all about that when you adapt. But yes, truly having a wonderful time here sa ating very insightful conversation. But guys, stick around because Grindy Talk Season 2 will be right back after this short break.
it will come back. It's how will it come back. Diba? Paano natin gagawin lahat
Yes.
yun?
That's true. Truly a very conversational episode, ha? But guys, we're back. Here we are again with Grindy Talk Season 2. And still with us is, of course, Mr. Leonard Molina, who is the creative director and head of digital execution of Saga Events. Ayan naman. Talagang thank you for your very insightful answers. Like what we said backstage, ang dami naming natututunan sa'yo when it really comes to, the events industry. So, we would like to know what's your take on this one. Na how will you predict that things will go back to the regular new normal? And what do you
Uh,
hope to come out of these?
well, most definitely. Well, I mean, what's nice about kasi about what happened is
Mm.
nagbago yung workflow.
Yeah.
Nagbago yung workflow na lahat. So from production people to client side. I mean, before coordinating people, kailangan ganito. Pre-production meetings need to be set up on this day in this venue. We need to gather, and then you realize, pwede naman palang online mag pre-prod meeting. Going to clients, you don't actually need. Pwede pala yung 5-minute discussion and decision point. Pwede naman palang naka-video conference. We don't
Uh-oh.
really need to go to your office. Ganun lang pala siya. I mean, if there's one thing that's nice about it, it changed the whole work dynamics of people, especially in the events industry. Back in 2019, everyone was in events. Everyone was stressed. Everyone was so full of, alam mo yun? I mean, masaya sila kasi maraming project, pero lahat pagod. I mean, there were sad stories of people getting sick, people passing away because in the middle of a shoot,
Really burnt out,
But-
no?
But with this, people now learned how to be more efficient. Now you're forced to go on. You're forced to go to a meeting on time. You don't have an excuse anymore. Di ba? Online lang naman eh. Dati so ako, to be honest, I dreaded video conference meetings. Kasi parang, bakit pa? Mahina yung internet ko, or I'm not in the office, or pangit yung camera ko, or whatever. So for one, I mean, going back to it's not gonna be back to what was before. It's gonna be a new thing, and hopefully it's gonna be, I'm sure it's gonna be a better normal. So yun. But I hope people understand that we can be more efficient, even if it's no longer just virtual, even if it's not just in this digital space. And again, with all the learnings and all the skills that we've expanded with, yung mga natutunan nila, and everything that we've experienced virtually comes out in the in-person event, and it makes it all better. I mean, I'm sure pag naging collaborative na yung in-person tsaka virtual event, I'm sure there's a lot more content, and it's very exciting. It's really,
Yes,
really
and we're looking forward to that. Siyempre. What about Miss Julie? What's your take on that? Like, when do you predict that things will go back to the regular new normal? And what are you hoping from these regular
Um,
normal?
I think it's gonna be a slow transition, but I don't also think that we will be the same as before. So there are a lot of Menard already discussed it, I think, elaborately, the changes in terms of in the workforce. But there's
Yeah.
also another thing in the education environment, or in the education field. One thing that I learned, and what interests me, is how do you pass on expertise, how do you pass on or teach knowledge via online, right? So
Yes.
one of the showcases that Ticket to Me, one of the things that Ticket to Me showcased was, we have a client, Third World Improv. How do you imagine teaching improvisation theater via online?
Online. Oo.
Online. And it's highly interactive, diba, improv? But it's one of the things, they're one of our clients who did not stop selling their workshops and performing workshops since April 2020, even until now. And they have a market. They really have a developing market for that. Also in school, like I take my master's at AIM, and I thought, how could you actually, do grad school online? But it actually works. There are a lot of creative means, and I must appreciate my professors because learning is actually healthy and fun, even online. And I think that's gonna be something that's gonna go on given the new normal and maybe beyond, and there will be more. We'll be developing a lot of new normal as we go on. Again, it's a time for creativity and being resourceful.
Yes. And it's also all about expanding your growth
Yeah.
mindset.
Growth
diba?
mindset. Yes, growth mindset.
Favorite ni Mendar.
That's the key of
Growth mindset.
expansion and growth mindset.
Growth
Pero let's go back naman to to the on-ground events. So should the demand for on-ground events bounce back aggressively? And what do you think are the innovative solutions and technologies that you can recommend to revive your business, which is the events industry? Yeah.
It. I don't agree on aggressive. I mean, aggressively going back. It's not gonna be safe. It's not gonna be. I mean, it might. It might look like it kasi excited yung production. Excited yung production. Let's go, let's go. But it has to be safe. People, agencies, and the industry should be smart about it. In terms of opening the gates of venues again. It's gonna be hard kasi napakaraming stakeholders. It's clients need to understand that we can't just go build an event for a large gathering. We can't just. It's brands should also understand that there might be repercussions if something happens. Consumers
Exactly.
need to understand that we might not be liable for whatever happens to you in an event. Production people, even in production people. I mean, for one, we're required to do antigen and rapid testing, and the risk of knowing that one is positive, it's such a yung ang dami agad
Scary.
repercussions nun. I mean, that's hard, and it has happened to us before. Na ang daming kailangan changes. So going back aggressively, not very smart. that's not the way to go. But there's a way to do it, and I'm sure events people, for one thing, knows how to do it. I mean, we've always gone around troubleshooting and doing this and doing that. Isa lang ang makakapagpapigil sa atin, gobyerno. Protocols, IATF. Yun lang naman eh. But to be honest, IATF and FDCPs are very, very open in discussing naman all those protocols, especially if we go back to in-person events. I mean, some countries can do it, have done it safely without any backlash to anyone. I guess we can do it. It's just that kailangan pare-pareho lang yung mindset from client side to production to consumer na this is a risk that we're taking, but if it's a risk that needs to be taken, yun lang naman. In order for us to go back to on-ground events.
Yes. Thank you. What about Miss Julie?
I agree, aggressive is not the way to go, but new ways should be the way to go. So we really need to, as I said, think and prepare for the comeback of the live and on-ground events. And creativity, I would repeatedly say, would play a key role. Like, for example, earlier I mentioned about open spaces. We have to explore the potential of that. It was already happening before. Before I was in Ticket to Me, I was from PETA Theater, and we would have mobile shows in covered courts, open spaces. That's already happening even before. So given the data of the now, how do you improve? How do you create performances in open spaces? Second, services as well. Menard mentioned about safety protocols. So maybe you don't just sell tickets; you also sell tickets that go with antigen testing, COVID kits, etc. You know, the little
Or
things,
Yes.
vaccines, yeah.
or
Buy a
vaccine.
ticket, get a
Mm-hmm.
vaccine.
Yeah, or may stages, di ba? Parang bago ka maka-Q or maka-punch in ng QR code, vaccinated ka, you had
Yep,
antigen
register.
testing.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, we go back to building confidence because if you're gonna go in a place where you don't know
That's
if people are, di ba?
right.
And ngayon
Right.
kasi sa restaurants and dine-in, you can keep your distance. But how about in a
Right.
theater show? Pwede naman,
That's
but
right.
you
Or
know,
the
building
concert,
confidence.
diba? Like,
Yeah, sa concerts mahirap eh. So, but may added value if people know, okay, everybody in a shooting, right? Because that's how we do it with shooting.
that's
Everybody's
true.
tested, everybody.
That's
We're
true.
gonna shoot our season 2 of our boys lockdown probably end of the month, and we're aiming that everybody would be vaccinated by then. So there's the security
Mm-hmm.
that's second. And then third, maybe the model of live events, we should also revisit and think that. So usually it's like how do you call it? A plenary, or like there's a
Correct.
show and there are audiences. But maybe we could explore on turnovers, diba? Remodel the performances in such a way that people can watch by batches, but
Correct.
still have the experience of a social environment. So these are little marketing ideas that people can actually do design thinking exercise with. We have to take that time. So I think right now we have, I mean, of course, we're filled with Zoom meetings, etc. Right, but let's not forget that there's a future waiting, and we have to
Mm-hmm.
think of creative means.
Correct.
Definitely, I don't think it's gonna be the same. Yes, not aggressive, but we need to find new and creative ways.
Again, it's parang hindi solution. It's more of how do you prepare for everything
Mm,
that's gonna happen while we have time to prepare.
correct.
Yes, perfectly
Diba?
said. Oo.
Diba?
Tama,
Kasi
tama.
we have all this time, all this medium. Then we
Yeah.
prepare for something that can be done. I mean, ang dami namang technology and innovation na nandyan na. It's available. It's actually just how we gonna use them for
Mm-mm.
for bringing back on ground in person events. Diba?
Yes.
True. That's
Love it. Oo. Thank you so much for your answers. But of course, before we close, ayan naman, Grindy Talk Season 2 is supported by Workful Collaborative Workspaces and Hospitality Innovators. And for sponsorships and collaborations, or if you want us to feature your brands, your company, and your projects, please do drop us an email at ontvcchannel@gmail.com and follow our socials. We have at Grindback TV and at the Boulder channel. And also join us in Kumu by downloading app.kumu.ph/the Boulder channel. At syempre, to cap naman this episode, what projects and programs can we expect for your company this half of the year? Or let's say early next year. And of course, your message to all the event specialists and related professionals.
Ako na.
so, okay. Go.
Go back.
Ako na
Hindi,
muna.
I mean,
Go.
sige, go.
Sige.
Sige.
Oh, the,
Ano
the
ba?
dares
Ako
manner.
na
Go.
dito eh.
Ayan na, ikaw
Um,
mas malaki. Go.
Sige. Well, most kasi corporate, so I cannot divulge anything. But it's private audiences kasi. But we've also been in the talks of doing more shows, how to do more shows, fashion shows for one, virtually.
Yeah.
We're trying to talk to more brands. Si brands kasi ang mga hindi masyadong nagbibigay ng event. Kasi again, their revenue is also down. So we're trying to at least talk to more brands, to our clients, on how to set up a virtual event for them, for their consumers as well, for their customers. But there's not much in terms of uh, live audience, public events, kasi mahirap. Hindi na, I will not promise to any of that. But for sure, some of our clients have their medyo hindi natin pwedeng sabihin kasi lahat. Kasi right now kasi almost everyone needs to have their element of surprise.
Mm.
in terms of
Yeah.
content. So medyo bawal kaming magsabi ng gano'n. But for sure, there are a lot more things that's coming. Again, I've mentioned earlier, we're trying to create more different style of content that's more interesting kasi it's always been done. Lagi naman ganito na yung nangyayari. So we kind of, most of the clients will always ask us, yun ang isang ano ng event agencies when they need something different, when they want something, a different kind of execution, they always turn to events people, and we try to
Yeah,
give
yeah.
it to them almost every time. But yeah, it's a challenge. But yes, there are a lot of si Saga kasi we don't usually give out. Kumbaga, yung clients ang nag-share ng mga ganun. But
Yes,
yes,
yes, okay.
we've been kind of busy naman in terms of producing shows. Check out our Facebook. But
Yun.
yeah,
Oh, guys, go
yeah,
to
check
Saga
our Facebook.
events.
Ako, I did. I checked out his Facebook. Good.
Yeah, minsan hindi lang masyadong updated kasi we're busy. But yeah, I mean, okay lang. I mean, yeah. But my message to all events lang, kapit lang, guys. Kapit lang. And
Kapit
but
lang.
but on a serious note, and this is what we've done since the start of the lockdowns.
Hmm.
What is your core gift? Your core gift, you need to focus on your core gift. In Saga, we've always, ano ba talaga tayo? Are we creative? Are we innovative? Maybe we're not the number one. But what are we best at? What is our core gift? And we've always said, it's our people. It's the people and their
Yeah.
passion. So we focus on that. Are we the best? Were we the one who first did a virtual event? No, we didn't. Were we the first event agency that did live stream? No, we weren't. But how do we do our core gift? How do we use our core gift? People, their skills, our passion for events. We want to have perfectly executed events and programs. So yun lang din yung ginamit namin to to keep our clients, to hold our clients during these times. So what is your core gift? Focus on that and then expand it from there. Kasi if ang core gift
Yes.
mo, technology, o kaya supply, broadcast supply, well, camera and all that. Focus on that, then expand. So kapit lang. I mean,
Yes.
if you're true to your core, kahit ano pang pandemic, kahit ano pang crisis ang dumating, if you're true to that, you would always gain revenues, profit from that. And that's one thing that we've always done. So for us, it's the people, it's the passion to do great events. Yun lang. So whether it's in virtual,
Yes.
whether it's in on ground, it's the people and how we deal with our clients, their skills that they need to do, that needs to happen. Wala naman kami masyadong assets sa totoo lang eh. Pero kahit ano pang ibigay nyo, we'll make it work. Kasi nandun yung people and nandun yung passion to do it. So yun lang. Focus on core gift, expand
Wow.
from there.
Loving the message. Ang galing. We'll really keep that in
Inspiring.
mind. Oh, very inspiring. Thanks, Sir Bernard. Well, what about Miss Julie?
Yeah. For Ticket to Me, for the content creators, film producers, theater producers, Ticket to Me is here to help you out, start to finish. That's always our goal and our values, to act at the best interest of our organizers and ticket buyers. So for you guys, just check out our website, www.tickettome.net, or email ask@tickettome.net, and we'll make everything easy for you. Again, we are a combined ticketing and video streaming platform, which will help you distribute and monetize your content. And then in terms of our projects for the year, so Ticket to Me, aside from its core tech and ticketing service, we also produce content, as I said earlier, to showcase our technology and also the business model. You know, the different streaming models that can help drive in revenues, which we also discussed earlier. So one is Boys Lockdown. I'm sure there are fans of Boys Lockdown. We aired it.
Yes.
We had it last year, 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, and This year it went out on iFlix and GMA Heart of Asia. And we're shooting for the fans. We're shooting Boys Lockdown Season 2. Hopefully end of the year, and might be streaming early next year. And then the other thing is Ticket to Me is gonna have ICLE. We call it ICLE, or the Super Short Film Festival. What Ticket to Me also wants to provide is a safe space and a venue for different content creators, whether you are a newbie filmmaker or a pro. We want to provide
Nice.
a safe space where you could
Mhm.
express, where you could channel your creativity. So let me just plug it a bit. So Ticket to Me launches the Philippines first super short film festival. This is inspired by other microfilm festivals around the world. It's an annual online film festival, initially featuring three categories. So we have short film festivals, right? So this is super short. Micro short is 60 seconds or less. Mini
Oh,
short would be 1 minute to 2.5 minutes, and super short would be like 2 minutes to 5 minutes. Our festival motto is the simpler, the better. So for this year, we partnered with Movement for Good Governance, Youth Led and Youth Philippines, and we have the theme Bitin, We Deserve Better. So our theme
yon.
is really flexi. Everybody can join. Sali kayo, promise. So we have production grants, and we also have cash prizes, which we will be announcing later on. But the theme is basically to draw attention to, in an entertaining but enlightening way, the many stories that can help convince Filipinos all over the world that we deserve better government, better healthcare, better education, better livelihoods, better
Yes.
transportation, and even better love lives. So
Mm.
those are the two projects that Ticket to Me have in hand, and everybody is welcome to join. For more information, again, please contact or email ask@tickettome.net. But bottom line is, Ticket to Me is here to help you ticket easy.
Yay, love it. So maybe next time we can feature the film competition. And
Yeah,
then also, congrats in advance. Ayan na nga.
thank you, Jamie,
We're
and thank you
loving
for having
it.
us.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you guys. But once again, thank you for joining us today, Miss Julie Ann Bautista of Ticket to Me. She's a CEO, and also Sir Leonard Molina, Creative Director and Head Digital Execution of Saga Events. We are definitely looking forward to your future events and projects, whether virtual or in person. Pero hopefully in person na.
Yeah.
So yes. Last but not the least, maybe you can invite our friends who are watching right now. Where can they see you and to follow your socials?
Yep.
Let's go.
For Ticket to Me, check www.tickettome.net, and also on Facebook, Ticket to Me and Ticket to Me Events. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Us is just Saga Events in all social, in Facebook and Instagram. You can check out our website at saga.events.
All
That's it.
right. Thank you for that. And of
Yay!
course, for our viewers, let's follow them already. But before we leave, tonight we can join Architect Patch Cansano on Curve TV Bold Talks. That is at 7:30 p.m. And then tomorrow we can watch iConnect at 5 p.m. and Ka-Local Trip natin to at 7:30 p.m. So guys, we will see you again next Wednesday live at 5 p.m. here at Grind Detox Season 2. I'm Jamie G, and keep on grinding. Yes, thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.